guys, welcome back. Happy National Donut Day. We started the day off with donuts, and there's a story about that over on Patreon. I swear to the goddess it's true. And we're going to kind of have like a day for the Vanier. It's not going to become an all-time thing, but it feels like we should, because we did the impromptu Rose Festival, and I even took Roses upstairs last night. I said, any gods that want to be in this house are welcome. And we did do a final work on the Boogeyman God concept because that book I read a little more last night because I was like, how bad could it possibly get? Oh dear Lord, it got that bad, did it? And I was actually truly frightened because it made no logical sense. And when stuff stops making logical sense, I start to get scared because there's nothing to hold on to in that version of that religion. It's scarier than anything I think you would learn in church. That version of their god is very loving and loves everyone, but if you don't love him back, he gonna get you. And you're totally free to do whatever you want, but because two free people made a wrong choice, you're all doomed. And it's like, that's just as terrifying as what you had in church. You didn't upgrade, my friend. An upgrade would be God coming down to somebody in one of these books and going, look, it was a story. Why would I put two babies in a garden and give them the one test I knew as an all-knowing God? They failed. That would be a better upgrade. Dogma was a better upgrade for God. That book was. And they always kind of snap back to center. And so we made up a story last night because Loki goes, tell me a story. And he wanted me to tell him a story about that Boogeyman God in that book. So I thought about it and I said, well, once upon a time there was a Boogeyman God. And a little girl was growing up with the Boogeyman God. And he scared her because he scared everybody. No matter what nice things they occasionally said about him, he seemed to have a split personality and he was going to maybe throw her in a lake of fire, do all these other horrible things to her because she was essentially a bad person. And she grew up into a young lady and she met a wolf and a fox. Now the wolf and the fox had always been with her, but she didn't know this. And the wolf and the fox would see that she was imagining about this Boogeyman God because he wasn't real. And the wolf and the fox were trying everything they could to get her to let go of this Boogeyman God, and they couldn't do it. So finally one day the wolf says to the fox, or the fox said to the wolf, they might have both came up with the idea at the same time, let's make an imaginary box to catch the imaginary God in. And so they did. And they caught the imaginary Boogeyman God, and they ate him all up. And when they had ate him all up, nobody remembered the Boogeyman God. He was completely gone. There wasn't a single book or video or song left on the planet that mentioned that big scary version of God. And everyone was happy. The end. And they liked that a lot. They're like, yeah! And we kind of have to do those. Witches and pagans, we know ritual is important, and making up little impromptu rituals where your gods defeat the Boogeyman God or whatever it is that you're still, maybe hung up on from your old teachings is good. There's a reason you start children off young in a religion and you keep going, and the best of intentions is because you want them to have a good foundation. And the worst and darkest of intentions is because young children believe unquestionably anything you tell them. So if you tell them God is loving, but they'll believe that. Probably their whole life they will be frightened of this Boogeyman God that doesn't exist because they made him up. What their God was originally like, gods only know because he's probably hasn't been anywhere near that church in 2,000 years because he probably took one look at it, went, ugh, and walked off. I got Becker. That sounds about right. For all we know, they never could really nail down which of their gods was their god, so it could be Odin for all we know. Those trips Odin went on, we don't know. But our gods aren't like that, guys. They're not gods that love us up until we make a really big mistake and then they punish us. No matter what afterlife you go into, if you're looking at it from a Nordic pagan sense, for example, you're going to a hall with your god. If you have many gods, maybe you'll do day trips. Maybe they have a bus and shuttle system by now. Giggles back here. Even if you go to Hell's Realm, it's a beautiful paradise where you can rest before you're reborn or whatever floats your boat. If you want to stay there and rest, it's kind of like beautiful and everything else. Now, there is one part that's kind of scary, but that's kind of the max security system, or the super max for the truly bad, horrible people. Think Hitler, think Mussolini. Those are the kinds of guys that are in there. People that didn't change after death and are horrible. And we don't know if they'll be in there for all eternity, but they're being kept in there to keep them away from the general population. It's not a thing about punishment, even though it can often be termed as such. It's like, I have to protect the rest of the people, and even you have to go somewhere. So here, go play with the nice poisonous snakies. Enjoy. So, I'm getting calls of laughter back here. So, our gods are good to us. I got up, and you can read about this over on Patreon. We were having fun, and we were having donuts. It's National Donut Day, and I didn't even realize that. I just got New York donuts because we read that story about New York's donuts, and we've always done it in a loving way, but we do get the giggles over it. And damn if the random YouTube playlist didn't turn to the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So that's over on Patreon for you guys, along with, photo for you guys. And we've just been enjoying the day. It's going to be kind of a thing to celebrate the Vanir a little bit, make them feel a little more welcome. It seems like Lord Freyr is kind of frightened he's not welcome enough. He can get like that apparently from what I've read. I'm not trying to make other people's experiences my own, but he can get a little worried that maybe you really don't want Freyr around because Freyr is Freyr and Freyr isn't Jesus, gods no. And they're totally different gods in their approach to life. One likes to party, the other not so much. One really, really likes to be fertile and throw seed around with wild abandon. Loki's like, that's a nice way to put it. And the other one, not so much. So, Freyr's just been a little worried that I would have a hang up of having a fertility deity in here. And I'm like, I serve Dionysus. I don't mind fertility deities. Because they're usually, actually, in my experience, they're the utter gentlemen of the pantheon. They're very nice to women in every gender. They would tip their hat if they wore one. They're perfect gentlemen. And so Freyr, we've been getting him settled in at Freya, and I don't know if I told you this recording, but I had a series of dreams where it was like basically the gods pointing out, we will always take care of you, meaning everyone. They'll always take care of us, and they'll always provide us with nice things. I don't know that I believe a gift for a gift, because there are a lot of situations where we've had our back up against the wall and we have nothing to offer the gods and they still come through for us. And there have been situations where you give a gift and it's like you don't even know if they liked it because you don't notice anything. Let's put it this way, it's not quite like an ATM. I don't put in $20 and then I get $20 or $40 or whatever later. It's give and take, it should be, but because of I think it should be based more on friendship and love than an idea that you have to give, because that's not much different than what we came from, where you had to give your money because God needed your money. He literally created the universe, but he was broke. I'm just saying. Oh, Loki. Anyhow, you don't want to hear. He can be very nasty, and he can say stuff I wouldn't even be able to say on YouTube. You know Loki. But they're very happy. We'll have the celebration today, and Odin's being very nice and reminding me more of his gentle side, which I appreciate. I love that we have a warrior god, a couple warrior gods, but I also love that they have a very gentle, nurturing side. So, I hope that helps you guys, and I hope you're having a happy Friday. So, happy Freya's Day, Freyer's Day, Frigga's Day, all Vanir Day. So, have a good one, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.